Hello, my friends. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, and today I am so excited to jump into a video on something where as soon as I saw it in my email inbox, I'm like, purchase. That I am on it. That totally. The Balm. They have put out another full face palette. Do you guys remember the In the Balm of Your Hand palettes that came out several years back? They did like 2 different versions of it, and basically it was one of my most loved concepts in makeup. They looked back at their iconic products. You know, they make a lot of great blushes and highlights, different eyeshadows handpicked from certain existing eyeshadow palettes, and they made this whole greatest hits palette, and they were really cute about it because they like used the original packaging designs in each little portion of the palette to surround the shade that was taken from whatever. And it was something that not only spoke to me from a, wow, this is great quality stuff all in one place, how practical type of standpoint, you know, like a full face palette, you know, I love that. But also just the whole design, the idea, the thought of a brand looking into what they've made and basically downsizing the products and putting it into a little try me type situation. I think it's a great idea for a brand to do because it immediately exposes someone to so much of what they make. And then more recently, within, I want to say the past couple of years, the Balm has gone through some changes and they've shifted to all recyclable packaging. A lot of their stuff says clean beauty and green packaging. So they've made some big changes and they've now put out another palette. They call it the Balmbina, Babies of the Balm, and this incorporates things from all of their more recent products. Okay, so the Will Powder Blush, the Balm and the Beautiful eyeshadow palettes. They have a brand new highlighter that's come out called Let's Bolt, so that's in here. They have a Bronzilla bronzer and contour shade. There's one of their It's a Date blushes, and then also the mail order eyeshadow palette. There's something in here from that. So I just want to see, did the Balm do it again? Like, are they totally impressing me with this idea all over again? Is everything in here just as good as it was in the past, you know? I knew anybody who'd been with my channel for some years here would recognize this kind of a thing and be like, you know, what's your take on it? First off, instead of having a magnetic packaging, we have this little flap. And I remember when the Balm first put out something with that little flap, so basically all it's going to do is just pull out and then you can open it up. I had real questions about durability, but honestly, not a single flap on any product from the Balm has come undone or broken apart. I mean, it certainly could, but I think if you're careful enough with it, you won't have any issues. And then on the back side, what you have here is the ability to, you know, recycle your packaging when you're done with it and poke the pans out. They've got some images from their Balm and the Beautiful palettes, which I just love the old school designs that they put on things. It says, we clean up nicely, organic jojoba oil, organic grapeseed oil. Boyfriends aren't the only thing we recycle. Please recycle this package. So there you go. And then let's get a good close look at what's happening on the inside here. So there's the Bronzilla bronzer, the Let's Bolt highlight. We have 2 blushes. One is from the Will Powder Quad. One is a single, you know, just miniature of the It's a Date blush. And all of these can be eyeshadows as well. Okay, so don't look at it and think, ooh, I'm just confined to the face for that. They can multitask. Then these are the specific eyeshadows, 2 from the mail order palettes, which are fairly new. I don't think I've even talked about those yet. And 2 from the Balm and the Beautiful palettes here. So these are matte ones up top, the dark brown and a cream. And then we have kind of like a soft bronzy gold and a plum. And these both have some shimmer. So I've played with this for a couple of days. And what I can say is I'm super pleased with the quality of everything in here. I was really questioning at first of the Bronzilla because I have a single of this, and even when mine was new and I'd worked into it a little bit, you know, I had used it, I had a real hard time, something with the formula of just getting product off, you know, like getting it onto my brush, getting any to translate onto the skin. I was really disappointed. This one I have no issues with. It really is kind of what you see is what you get. No problems pigmentation wise with anything here. Even though the Balm has switched to this clean formula, I still feel like I'm just as impressed with like blushes and eyeshadows and stuff as I used to be. These are the swatches of the blushes. One's a little more plummy, as you can see, one's more peach. Now when you look at what the overall color scheme amounts to, yeah, it is going to be kind of a neutral look. So I mean, some might say, well, I want something a little more out there, but the essence of a lot of their palettes, you know, they don't go too far off the beaten path in terms of color. You know, they do keep it kind of neutral. So I'm not shocked at all that these are the kinds of shades that are in here. And I think they're also wanting something that almost anybody could grab for and feel comfortable with something like this. So again, the multitasking ability here is great. And I'm just going to talk specifically about everything as I put it on. I also got the San Francisco collection Meet Matte Hues. This was sent to me in PR. And I do have, by the way, with that, it says, surprise your followers, share the code TheBalmHoliday20, and your followers will receive 20% off their purchases through December 21st. So I'm going to use that. I've got a couple other products from The Balm that I will be putting on too. But right now I am wearing foundation. It's Wet n Wild Photo Focus and Wet n Wild Incognito. That's my base products. I use my Givenchy powder here that has the 4 shades in it to set the under eye and T-zone. I use my Revlon Brow Creator to fill in the brows, and I have Milani eyeshadow primer already on. So just wanted to get the face all ready to go. We're going to jump into Bronzilla here. And as you're going to see, this packs plenty of punch. You know, it's a very good, like, I think middle of the road bronzer shade. It's not too light, not too dark. Hair needs to be pulled back again, but that's fine. But you see what I mean here? It's showing. It's just different from the single that really honestly disappointed me when it first came out. But I think this is really an ideal product for the person who's maybe not tried the Balm in a little while, and immediately you get to see, you know, what their clean formula is like in all these different avenues, you know, even the face, the eyes. Here's what it looks like as you contour with it. I mean, just really nice. Like, I have no complaints. But a big thing for me in comparison to the past, like in the Balm of Your Hand palettes that they made, the big thing I pick up on is the fact that these just don't feel like quite as iconic to me. You know, these shades, they had Bahama Mama that had been around forever, different blushes that I was super duper familiar with. And here, while I have tried a lot of this stuff, it doesn't necessarily have quite the same thrill in terms of being in a palette like this. Do you know what I mean? They're just not famous shades for me yet the way the other ones were in those palettes. But I really respect the fact that they're off and running with this clean beauty green packaging thing, and this, you know, it was one of the best ideas they had to do a full face palette in the past, so I am glad that they've done it again. So there's the bronzer all over. I've got a little contour going around the forehead, cheekbone area. I really have no complaints. I think it looks great. And that bronzer is fully matte, by the way. With the blushes, it seems like our It's a Date blush down here is matte, but there is a little bit of a satin finish in our Will Powder blush. That, by the way, is a great quad. If you're thinking about other purchases from the Balm, the Will Powder Blush Quad, it has a stunning highlight in there too, in addition to some pretty blushes. But I'm going to wear both of these. I'm not scared of layering up a couple blushes, so I'm going to use the It's a Date one first so you can kind of see what tone that takes on. That was just one dip into the product. You can see the peachy color. I think it was a good choice to go with 2 totally different looking blushes so you can kind of get the different look, whatever you choose on a given day. Okay, so there's our peach. I love it. I think it looks great. Now we're going to take this more, you know, plummy shade I just talked about in From the Cold blushes, and this kind of follows that idea. You know, it has that little bit of a berry plumminess to it, and I just kind of went all over the whole cheek region with that. Not experiencing fallout with any of these, okay? Any of these face shades yet. When I dip my brush in, they're very solid, but as you can see, we're still getting nice pigment. So there we go. We went from a peachy cheek to more of a rosy cheek. The blushes are buildable, so you can start small with them. You definitely will see them, but you can build them up nicely. So very pleased with everything that's gone on so far. Now we have a brand new highlight in this line called Let's Bold, and it is very golden. I don't often reach for a real goldeny highlight, but something about this, when it shears out on the skin, I start to see, I feel like, less of the real gold pigment and more of just the glow, if that makes sense. It's a different story compared to what it really looks like here in the pan. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to get some with my Real Techniques setting brush, and we're going to go across the skin and see if you can tell what I mean. Like with that first streak, it's like, okay, yeah, I can kind of see the gold. And I kind of buff over it like I would. And it's like things kind of disperse and now I see glow, but I don't really see gold. To me, that's really pretty, but this is a little goes a long way highlight. Like this has the capability of being very strong. Like that's a little bit, that was one little application's worth that I put on that cheek. So go light with it at first. So there's your kind of streak of product, and then I would suggest just buff, buff, buff. You're not getting like big, flaky, glittery particles. Sometimes you see me really buffing a highlight in that has big flakes because I feel like this is how it works into the skin better. It's not about that. It's just more so, you know, I want it to look as natural as it can. And I just think that's how this highlight looks its best, is by not just leaving that golden streak, but sort of buffing it out. Really, really pretty. Whatever's left on my brush can go up on the forehead. There's really not a lot there, I don't think. But that was something pretty new to me, and I enjoyed getting to try it as part of this palette. I like the way things are coming together so far very, very much. I'm going to do a little bit of my Wet n Wild Natural Finish setting spray. And now we're going to move on to eyes. So again, what we're working with here, this kind of like bronzy, gold mixed with bronze eyeshadow shade, deep brown, matte cream. This maybe could be a little setting powder for you on the face if you want to try that. And then we've got this plummy shimmer. And somebody's going to get in the comments and say, I'm just really disappointed that you're always using these plum shades lately on the eyes. And I'm just going to say that's what's in the palette, and this is the subject of the video. I'm reviewing a product here. I can't like just turn it into something it's not, okay? Thank you to the most of you who understand that. Okay, so where do we want to begin with this? I've done a couple of looks. Let me talk about the looks I've done first, so maybe I can do something different with what I do today. So first look, I actually thought it was really pretty and kind of unique looking because of the pairing of the golden shade mostly on the lid and then the plum in the crease and outer corner. I think those two shades look really beautiful side by side, the gold and the plum. There's a softness to the look, but a glamorous quality as well. The next look that I did, I don't love the picture quality here. I must have needed to clean off my camera, but I took the bronzer into the crease along with the deep matte brown, and then I just used my matte cream shadow on the lid, and I may have blended out some edges with a little bit of the plum, but overall just kind of wanted to try my hand at a very classic look with this palette, and that really is something that this palette lends itself to, and that shouldn't be underrated, you know? The ability to just have like this matte to start out in your crease, something to deepen it up, and another matte to go on the lid. I'm talking about the bronzer shade, and then this, and then this. That's key, that's important. So I enjoy that option that's there. Today, maybe, I don't know, I'm feeling with this leopard, maybe we really work in like a brownish, toasty kind of vibe. I'm first going to take my bronzer shade and go to the crease with that. See how nice and soft that is, but very perfect for just like starting out your eye look. Then let's take a little bit of the mail order shade, which is our dark brown. I've just picked up a little bit on my brush, okay? And for me, for my brunettes out there, you're just anybody who rocks a little bit darker brow, this is a nice cool brown that could go into the brows. So here's me just adding the lightest amount of this to my crease, and then we're really going to pack some on the lid. Okay, flat brush, same color. Sorry, camera adjustment. Memory card filled up. Packing on our dark cool brown. And then just blending over it. Guys, this is happening pretty easily. I'm not working hard. The shades are buildable. You're not going to be completely overwhelmed by that dark brown in an instant. And I kind of like that. I think that makes it really easy to use. Now we're going to take the flat brush and I'm going to use this mail order shade right here. It's called Noel, but like the name Noel. Okay, patting this on. Oh, that is so pretty. I love that shade really packed on. That's so nice. Okay, looking great. I love that. I'm going to take a little bit more of my dark brown and I'm going to pinpoint it more. So I'm using my Profusion small pointed brush and I'm just working that shape a little bit more with small circular motions in the outside. And I also feel like taking it down below the eye. Just getting that nice smudgy smoky thing. And finally, I'm just going to reach for this cream color here from the Balm in the Beautiful palette. It's the shade called Fog. And that can come up here and be my highlight. And that also takes the edge of your look and sort of perfects a little bit more when you do this last. Nice and smooth. I think I will leave the plum out of this look since I just feel very complete with things right now, how it is. But you did get to see in one of the other looks I did how that came off. And now a couple of other things that were sent to me. I'm very familiar with the Schwing eyeliner, but that's their black liquid liner with kind of an inkwell design. Nice staying power. If you want to support the Balm, like, buy their black eyeliner. But if you're really trying to watch your budget, you know, Milani Stay Put Matte is another exceptional option that will give you that intense black liquid line in the same kind of format. But I am going to use that today. It has this kind of long, flexible tip, not a brush tip, it's a felt tip. And I will just take that across my upper lash line here. Nothing to it. And then I have the Mad Lash Mascara. This has like a real spiky, rubbery brush that has a little curve to it. It has some spikes on the end. The bristles get kind of longer on the the bottom side of the bowl and then a little bit shorter down in it. So I'm going to be using that today. I didn't have the most amazing results with this the other day when I was playing around with it. It just didn't turn out to hold my curl very well, but I'm going to pop on some falsies with this look anyway, so you'll see how this turns out. I do like the shape of the brush because the curve isn't so small that you can't like put that whole side of the brush up against your lashes, you know what I mean? Like the curve really fits my entire eye shape. But there it is with one coat, you know, very black. It seems like it should be more defining than it is, but it does kind of clump my lashes together a little bit. I would rather it not do that quite so much. And it could be, you know, the mascara is so new, the formula is pretty wet right now. That can improve with time. That is the nature of the formula, it's kind of wet. So you see guys, it's okay, it's nice and black. It's just not making me do backflips. Classic M phrases. I'm not doing backflips over it. It's not knocking my socks off, but it's there. And then I'm going to do my lash discovery on the lower lashes. See if we can discover some more lashes here. This is the waterproof version, and it's really been working for me on the lower lashes as far as not smudging, not being a little troublemaker. And the brush is just so easy. Much lower likelihood of having mistakes when you use a small brush like this. I'm going to pop on my lash and I'll be right back. So here's the lashes on. These are my Kiss My Lash But Better in the style So Real. And I also put a little light liner in the lower inner rim. Next up, I want to talk about the Meet Matte Hues. This is their new San Francisco collection, but they've got quite a few different versions of like little groupings of these. But this is actually a really great matte liquid lipstick formula. It kind of like goes under the radar for me and I feel like I'm rediscovering it at various times. But it really is long wearing but not uncomfortable. It has the scent of like mint chocolate, like kind of a thin mint cookie vibe. They do point out 3 new shades in this 6-pack here. So Fierce, this berry color. We've got Confident, which is kind of a medium rosy shade, and then Generous is like a really warm, I wouldn't quite call it nude, a little deeper than nude. I think I'm actually going to just try them all on for you guys. I'm going to have to go in order of from like light to dark. I'm going to basically work this way, but I'll try them all on so you can see. But here you're just getting, see, a kind of a no frills packaging design, but a great try me size and great if you already own a ton of lip products. This is one of the new shades. This is Generous. Oh, the scent is just amazing. And I like that the colors of these don't really change. You know how some liquid lipsticks, like the colors seem to drastically shift as they dry down? These not so much, but there's that kind of toasty nude. Then we have Committed. This is part of the regular line. Super wearable, kind of standard medium rosy color. I love that. I could see me in that shade a lot. And I believe the Balm is stationed in San Francisco. That's their headquarters as far as I know. This is another new shade. This one's called Confident. It looks like it's going to be a little deeper and more berryish than the last one. There's a thinness to these too, and that's I think what makes them so comfortable. Love that. There's a neat bit of purpliness in this shade that makes it a little more unique for me. Just so you can see in our lineup here, we've just done these three, kind of our lighter three. Now we're getting a little richer. This next shade is called Trustworthy. I think this was the one I was wearing yesterday. Think terracotta, but not too bright in the orangey department. Love that. That's kind of reminding me a little bit of like the Too Faced gingerbread man, gingerbread girl, you know, those kinds of shades that have that toastiness, that warmth. Really loving the variety in this kit so far. Next up, friends, we've got a red and a berry. That last shade, by the way, was part of the regular line, Trustworthy. Adoring, also not a new shade coming up here. Looking like a red, but not a super bright red. It's like a berry mixed with red. And this one seems thinner than all of them so far. To me, I wouldn't hesitate at all to wear that kind of a shade. I like the depth. I did not, for anybody else, sort of transform this into a special occasion kind of look as soon as that shade went on. Our last color is Fierce, and this is a new shade. Hold your horses, Em. Take this one off. So let's see Fierce. I'm seeing more purple in this. Let's see. Ooh, vampy. So as you can see, I get some applied to the bottom, mush it to the top, and then clean up the edge. Wow, so that one is your really extra deep dark berry. I'm liking it. I really appreciate the spectrum here. You guys know I don't love to get a small kit and then feel like they just sort of repeated shade after shade. So I really like this. I'm trying to think what shade I want to wear all day today. I don't think I want to be quite this dark. I think I'm going to wear this shade right here today, the one called Committed. It's kind of the lighter of the two pinky colors, just because I don't feel like I wear a lot of shades like this right now. There's a freshness with this shade. I really like it. And I kind of like how they found a scent that is just absolutely gorgeous. And they're like, we know it's good. We're putting it in all of the lip colors. So I really like that set. I like the palette too, you guys. I'm gonna take my hair down, make it more like my actual look for the day. Does my brow need a little extra? Sorry, you just never know sometimes till the end. Truly though, guys, I'm a fan of this palette. It wasn't just a matter of me being like, oh, I'm craving this kind of a palette from them and I'm gonna like whatever it is. Like, I truly was ready to test everything and see if I enjoyed it. I feel like the proof is on the face here. I think everything looks so good. I love the face steps and I really enjoy the eyeshadows too, as far as, you know, everyday makeup goes, because I can do just kind of golden brown. I did more of an all matte look. I worked in the plum and the gold. That was probably one of my favorite looks with this palette. All of these can be eyeshadows too, so don't count those out. But I really wanted to just be quick about my review on this because I'm sure there are some of you who were eager to see the Balm do this again and wondering if it was good. I say yes, it is good. Maybe you missed out on it the first couple of times that they did this, but I think it's adorable and it's a great way for a brand to allow people to try so much of what they make. And it also surprised me that the one thing that I was really questioning of, the Bronzilla bronzer, because I didn't love my individual, but it was so much better in this palette. I don't know if anybody else has had or will have that experience, but sometimes people have the reverse with palettes or special edition things and it's like, oh, they didn't put the same formula in. Well, it was different and better in this. And I really also like the lip set. I think that would be a great little gift. To me, like, I was thinking about how I wasn't such a huge fan of this year's Too Faced Melted Matte collection, but this, for probably a similar price, is even more shade variety, and I just think a great bang for your buck. Personally, I would say, do you need to get the liquid liner and the mascara? No, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the mascara, and the liquid liner is nice, but you don't have to necessarily spend the Balm money for it. If you're trying to selectively choose your higher end purchases, that doesn't have to be one of them, is my point. So thank you guys so much for watching. This was a lot of fun for me to do, so I hope you enjoyed it as well, and I will see you again very soon in my next video. I love you. Bye.